world. The break came from updated DNA work on evidence from 1993 paired with genetic genealogy. A suspect has confessed. Let's get our weather forecast for this Sunday.
A mixture of clouds and sunshine for today. There will be a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, a high at 82. A thunderstorm or two in the area tonight, especially later on, low 67. Humid tomorrow, clouds and sun, a pop-up thunderstorm, the high 82. Then lower humidity Tuesday, some sunshine, the high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now we have a cloudy sky in downtown St. Louis, 73 in Florissant, 72 in St. Peters, and 73 at the Arch. Sports on a Sunday morning from downtown right now on KMOX.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
It's great to be with you. The last day of May and a big sports month coming in June. First weekend of June actually is going to be a monster weekend with IndyCar and soccer World Cup preliminary, a friendly at Energizer Park. The Battlehawks playing a playoff game at the Dome, and the St. Louis Cardinals. They'll be taking on the Cincinnati Reds in a division matchup. That's where we are right now as the Cardinals are playing a divisional foe, the Chicago Cubs. Let's start with that and get the latest from our broadcasters as the Cardinals took on the Chicago Cubs.
The Redbird Recap is sponsored by Helitech Waterproofing and Foundation Repair. Heal your home with Helitech.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and last night the play of the game took place with the Cubs batting against reliever Ryan Fernandez. Fernandez retired his first batter in the sixth inning on a lineout, but Miguel Amaya hit the ball back to Fernandez. Fernandez threw it away at first base. That error opened the door to 2 runs, and the Cubs didn't look back, winning 6-1.
2 unearned runs that inning. They got another unearned run later. Cardinals did not play sound baseball yesterday. Very unusual for this young team. Looking forward to them bouncing back today in the final game of the series.
The Cardinals mustered only 1 run on 3 hits against the Cubs starter and winner, Ben Brown.
Ben Brown was good. He's been good all 5 starts that he's made for the Cubs.
So the Cardinals won 6-5 Friday, lost last night 6-1, and will try to win the rubber game tonight. It's a 6:20 start. We're on the air at 5:25. Ricky will have the lineups at 6:10 from Busch Stadium.
Downstairs to Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol.
The pitch count that Brown had in the first 3 innings there, and obviously the aggression early in counts for you all seems to sort of identify what the approach was there. What do you kind of take away again from
Yeah, you can't give him a whole lot, man. He's a good pitcher. He's got a good fastball. We didn't move it forward enough, but the plan was to be on the attack. It didn't work. He did a really nice job against us tonight.
The spot for Leahy, I imagine that's a situation where you see how Bregman has seen him in the first 2 at-bats, and it becomes clear for you that that's the best way to get out of that inning.
Correct. And I mean, we've talked about it. We need to find, I would just say, the right opportunities to continue to push through that threshold of him adapting to the workload of once he gets to that, like, 75 pitches, kind of what the location of his pitches look like. So I think there's times to do that and times to kind of take our shot with the pen. Today was one of those days where, based on what you just said as well, we felt like going to the pen made the most sense. Yeah.
What's the difference that you notice in the evolution of Brown on the other side compared to seeing him last year?
Like, you have a good idea of how his stuff plays, and it's all based off of the fastball and the hoppiness of it. I mean, it gets on you. It's a short stroke. It gets on the hitter. We were ready for it. We mishit a lot of them at the end of the day. Yeah.
Oh, it was frustrational. Fern gets you out of that inning, pitch really well, and then the poor throw to first, and he walks a guy.
Yeah, that's the part of the game that kind of you're in a tough position once that happens, as far as how you want to roll forward. You pick your poison there, and it didn't work. But the throw to first, I mean, 2 outs, nobody on, feels a lot better with a 9-hole up. But then you do that, and then walk the next guy, puts you in a really, really tough spot. Yeah.
As far as on the base, I think Burley got thrown at second and fourth.
I'm okay with Burley's. Yeah, I don't have an issue with Burley's because I mean, you look at, you got a good arm. They're going to take their shot at the plate. As the batter runner, you don't know how close it's going to be at the plate, so especially at that part of the game, and I'm good with them being aggressive. He read the throw out of the hand. It was going to be too high for the first baseman to cut. But I joked with him. It's a combination of the catcher's arm and his speed, it didn't work out at second. But as far as the read, it's the right read. Yeah. As far as the next one you're going to ask me about, he knows he made a mistake and going to third there based on the scoreboard. There's no reason for it. He'll learn from it and keep moving.
Ollie Marmol last night. Team has a chance to go for a series win tonight. Let's get the player perspective. J.J. Weatherholt.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, with the crowds there and how engaged everybody is, and kind of just each moment feels intense, and we're just trying to play better baseball. So, they played really well tonight, and we just got to find a way to bounce back in the series.
The early count aggression you all had against Brown tonight seemed pretty clear just based on the pitch count he had and all that, especially going through the game. What do you take away from the approach and kind of where you all were and weren't able to find success against him?
Yeah, I mean, righties and lefties are going to have different approaches. Each guy's going to have their different own approach. I mean, for the most part, like if a guy's in the zone, you want to hit him. No. I know I chased a curveball. I think we chased some other stuff like that he just had working with him. His stuff was good. So, yeah, I mean, I remember, I think going up to my third at-bat against him, I figured he'd be like in the 70, 80 range, and I think I saw like 50s or 60s. I was like, dang, that's not where we want to be. So, kind of just got to tip your cap to him, but we'll take notes on that and just hopefully be better for the next time we see him.
I feel like we talked a lot about the crowd being more engaged. Isn't it the Cubs weekend, getting on PCA, all that? I mean, isn't that the perfect example of how rowdy it can get?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had a crazy day today, so. But yeah, hearing the crowd engaged and just kind of, the boos and the hollering and all that type of stuff, it's cool to be a part of.
Yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong was getting it from the tarps off crowd, and then he put a home run into the tarps off crowd. That was pretty impressive, actually. We have Cardinal baseball tonight at 6:20 with the pregame at 5:25. Let's get ourselves across the river and a minor league baseball report.
The Gateway Grizzlies clinched a series win over the Joliet Slammers with a wire-to-wire 7-4 victory at Slammers Stadium on Saturday night, winning their 8th consecutive road game in Joliet in the process. With an update from the Gateway Grizzlies for KMOX Sports, I'm the voice of the Grizzlies, Jason Garrett. It was a 4-run first that got Gateway out to a great start against Joliet starter Sean Gamelin. An error by the shortstop allowed Dale Thomas to reach with the bases loaded and made it 1-0 Gateway. That was followed by a hit by pitch by Sawyer Smith and a sacrifice fly from Mitchell Sanford before Otto Jones came up with a 2-out RBI single, increasing the advantage to 4-0. Ben Harris gave 1 run back on a 2-out RBI single by former Grizzly Peyton Carr in the bottom of the first, but the right-hander settled in from there, eventually pitching a career-high 6 1/3 innings and striking out 6 in a quality start to earn his 3rd win of the season. The Grizzlies' offense would homer in both the 5th and 7th off the bats of Mitchell Sanford and Bryson Horn, giving Gateway 33 home runs as a team, most in the Frontier League through 20 games. Gateway will look to close out the first half of their road trip with a series sweep on Sunday afternoon at 1:05 Central Time as they send Ty Good to the mound to take on the veteran left-hander for Joliet, Gunnar Kynes. All of the action can be heard on the Grizzlies Media Network, powered by Odyssey.com and the free Odyssey app.
Jason, we appreciate it. We'll talk some baseball with Bernie Miklas when we come back, and then Bob Costas, who is in town to be part of the NBC broadcast tonight at Busch Stadium, and then Blues GM for a little bit longer, Doug Armstrong. That's all this hour on Sports on a Sunday Morning. 3 big-time live guests next.
Is your home showing symptoms of foundation issues? Your home's wet basement, dingy crawl space, musty smells, cracked walls, or unlevel concrete shouldn't be ignored. Helitech can help. Life happens in your home. You and your family deserve the best. Helitech offers proven solutions in waterproofing, drainage, concrete leveling, and foundation repair services. Contact us for a free inspection at helitechonline.com.
When the water's high, we'll keep your basement dry. Heal your home with Helitech.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the 3rd generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
For your best vision, visit the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. They're the doctors' doctors, and what that means is more than 250 doctors trust their eyes to the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. So you should trust your eyes to them as well. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are also cornea surgeons. They're experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and yes, they do LASIK surgery as well. So do it today. Make an appointment with the doctors' doctors, the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, and protect your sight. Call them at 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. You can find Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road, just a half-mile west of 270 on eastbound Manchester. youridoc.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Our visits with Bernie Miklas are sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. Bernie, great to be with you on this Sunday morning. How you doing?
Yeah, happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah, May's almost gone, and baseball season will continue to roll.
It feels like summer out there, that humid air, and it's been a lot of fun down at the ballpark, except for yesterday, unless you were a Cubs fan. It was just a tale of two different games. I mean, I was there Friday night with my daughter. We had a blast, and I just felt like even when the Cardinals fell behind in that first inning that they were going to make a game of it, and did they ever? Velasquez with the home run. I mean, it was a great Friday night game.
Yeah, the Cubs... The Cubs pitching staff, especially Imanaga, who started Friday, I mean, they're the type of pitching staff that should get the Cardinals going offensively, because they give up a tremendous amount of home runs, talking about the Cubs. And that's what happened Friday night. Cardinals hit 3, they won the game. But, last night, Ben Brown just attacked the strike zone, and they couldn't do anything with him. So the offense kind of went back into hibernation. And Tom, I think that's the story of the season so far. There is such a huge difference between the first month and the second month. Let me just do this real quick. In the first month of the season, the Cardinals were 7th in the majors in runs. This month, they're 28th in runs, home runs, 7th in the first month, 25th in May. The slugging percentage was 9th overall in March, April. It's 24th in May, and so on and so forth. And the thing of it is, we could say, well, it's not just hitting, it's pitching, it's offense, defense, and pitching. It's not just the offense. Well, that is true. However, if you look at the difference in the first month to the second. I mean, the Cardinals, their team ERA in the first month of the season ranked 26th. This month it ranks 13th. I mean, the pitching, and that includes like all three phases: the overall pitching, the starting pitching, and the bullpen. All three have really jumped way up high in the standings. They're dramatically improved this month, but yet the Cardinals have a losing record. So, yeah, I do think we can lay most of this. Put that on the lineup card. I mean, because that's been the problem, offense.
It has been. And yesterday, the Cardinals, as was noted in that audio that we heard from Marmol and Weatherholt, they used an aggressive approach, and it just didn't work out for them. And then defensively, some miscues went against them. They haven't looked the same defensively. And as you mentioned, their pitching, which has been really good. I was interested to see what they would do with Palante on that Friday, and they got him out of there. And then they really got Leahy out of there. That was an aggressive yank, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And I mean, they know more than I do in terms of like reading signs and maybe some of his stuff starting to slip a little bit. But I thought he looked really strong. And the other thing is that, the earlier you get into the bullpen with the Cardinals, even though the bullpen overall has definitely improved in May, I mean, that's a fact. That's not an opinion. There are still there's still some soft spots there where you sort of hold your breath. Like Friday night, for example, Justin Brule was good. Last night, not so good. And I'm not putting it on him. I'm just saying, when you have to navigate the fifth inning, sixth inning, seventh inning with your bullpen, where you're running all those guys out there. I mean, a couple of them, frankly, just aren't going to be very good. So you leave yourself vulnerable. So that's kind of the problem with the shorter starts. Although, you and I have talked about this. If you look at the Cardinals in terms of where they rank as a team in terms of average innings per start, they're right there. I mean, they're no worse than anybody else. In fact, I think they're in the upper half of the major leagues in terms of average innings per start. So that's just baseball the way it is in 2026.
When you and I did Gas House Gang on Thursday, we talked about the possibility of a spark offensively. Velazquez, I'm not so sure was on our list of prospects. I think we were looking at maybe Baez, maybe Crooks, who ended up being the move here. We've already brought up Velazquez. I really obviously loved him jumping on the first pitch and knocking that out of the park. The Crooks move, what did you think of Jimmy joining the team?
I think they had to do it. My only reservation when I would push back against that earlier in the season is because I was looking at all the strikeout and swing and miss stuff, and it was really, really bad. But they told him, they gave him some things to work on, and they said, look, man, there's so much we love about your hitting, but you just got to cut down on the strikeouts and the swing and miss. And to his credit, he did. And then he was rewarded with that by being promoted. Listen, they have to do something with the bottom of the lineup. And I define the bottom of the lineup as it's starting in the fifth spot. I'm talking about the final 5 spots in the lineup, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, last night, 0 for 13 with 5 strikeouts. If you look at the month of May, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots in the Cardinals lineup, 200 batting average and a 548 OPS with runners in scoring position this month, right? You wonder why the Cardinals are losing games. Runners in scoring position this month, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots in the lineup are 11 for 103. That's a 107 batting average.
Yeah, that's easy outs.
So like Crooks will get something going against right-handed pitching. He will. So that's one move to bolster the second half of your lineup, which is among the very worst. It's like bottom 2 or 3 in terms of the entire major leagues. And it makes me wonder how much longer they're going to ride with Victor Scott. I think that's a situation that you're getting to the point. It's like, look, it's just not getting any better offensively. They have way too many easy outs. That's the bottom line. Way too many easy outs once you get past the first 4 in their lineup.
Right. It's not like they're getting unlucky. They just are either, recording an easy out or grounding out feebly, which would qualify as an easy out. Jeremy says that Jordan Walker hasn't hit a home run in over a week. We would note that, but we also note that Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first home run of the season yesterday. I mean, it actually is amazing what Jordan did. I don't see any drop off in Jordan.
No.
Do you?
No. And I mean, can we give the guy a break a little bit? He's like, if the season ended today, he'd be getting MVP votes. I'm not saying he would win it, but he would be on that ballot high in the voting results.
Sure. If the Cardinals were in the playoffs, definitely he would.
Yeah. And so I'm not sure what the fuss is when he has a quiet several days or he has a week where his numbers aren't screaming at us because they're so phenomenal. It's called Major League Baseball. It's 162 games. The best hitters in baseball ever would go through stretches where for 4 or 5 days, not very good.
I have this feeling.
We can't expect greatness like nonstop.
I have this feeling that like Ollie and Chaim and Brant Brown and Brandon Allen and all those guys would actually smile at the fact that 4 months ago, we were all like, what are we, or 3 months ago, 2 months ago, we're all like, what are we going to do with Jordan Walker? And now people are wondering why he hasn't hit a home run in a week. I think they actually like that a little bit.
No, it's really kind of funny how that works, and I'm looking at his, let me just look at this real quick and it won't take long. Okay. It's actually been 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually been 5 games since he hit a home run. It hasn't been a week. So in the 5 games where he hasn't hit a home run, he has not hit well, period. His batting average is only 167. But again, that's baseball. That happens. You know what I look at? In the last 5 games, he's come to the plate 19 times. You know how many times he struck out? Twice.
That's awesome.
So in other words, if this thing is like, well, you hadn't hit a home run in a week, except this 5 days, it's not a week. If the point, sort of underlying point trying to be made is like, he's sort of lapsing back to what? No, he's not. 2 strikeouts in the last 5 games.
Yeah,
that's
right.
all.
That's right. Bernie, we have Bob Costas coming up next. I mean, how about that for a 1-2 punch to start the show? Any final thoughts from you on the Cardinals-Cubs big matchup tonight? I mean, that's kind of cool that NBC, of course, KMOX carries them all, but I love the fact that NBC puts that matchup on display.
No, I think it's wonderful, and I think it's great to have NBC back. Doing a national game each week. I'm old, and I remember, growing up, man. That Saturday NBC game was all you had, basically, other than the local TV where teams only, I don't know how many they would televise in the 60s each team. Maybe 40, 50 games, something like that. But the Saturday game was all you had, and it was a really great tradition. And I know it's not quite the same, obviously, but it's just cool to have NBC as a part of national broadcasts again.
It really is. It's going to be great. Pujols is on it. Costas is on it. Jason Benetti. I put in a handful of best play-by-play men, period. Any sport. Any sport.
Yeah.
And he's going to be doing the game tonight, so it'll be great. Bernie, always great to hear from you, pal. Have a great Sunday.
Can't wait to listen to all the interviews, Tom. You too, pal. Take care.
Thank you, buddy. We got a good one today. Bob Costas follows Bernie, then Doug Armstrong. We'll hear from Chaim Bloom on the show today, Indy 500 champion Felix Rosenquist, among others. Good show today. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio, and we'll be right back.
All Access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now. 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Well, summer is underway here in St. Louis. I know it's not officially summer, but to us it is. Anything after Memorial Day is summer. When Al Raboski removes his shirt and drinks a beer and waves his shirt above his head, it's officially summer in St. Louis. Anyway, now that I've mentioned that, how about you sit outside and enjoy your outdoor patio, deck, sunroom, screen room, fence, whatever it is. That is Chesterfield Fence and Deck's priority, is to make sure that your outdoor living is top notch. They have the best materials, the best warranties for sure, the best service, and professionals who will, first of all, go through a design with you, a free in-home consultation, no obligation at all to talk to them and just go through a design. And then the people that put it together, the experts, the craftsmen, the carpenters, they always have the best people available for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mention me, Tom Ackerman. You'll receive 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have, the very best.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman back with you. We are on Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio, and we are joined live by 29-time Emmy Award winner, 12-time Olympic Games host, and member of numerous Halls of Fame, including the Baseball Hall of Fame. Bob Costas is with us on KMOX, your home radio station. Bob, how are you?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Doing great. I know your love for this show. In fact, at one time we had you on the show, and you said, I'm still happy that it's still called what it was called when I first started, Sports on a Sunday Morning. We took that and we ran with it. It's been a great promo for us, so we appreciate that.
Still Sports Open Line and still at your service at various times during the day, right?
Absolutely right, and we love it. We love doing this show, and we love having you in town. It's we just talked to Bernie Miklasz about this. It is a touch of nostalgia. You know, we grew up with NBC doing the game of the week. When's the last time, not to put you on the spot, that you were on NBC doing a Cardinals broadcast? This is something.
Probably sometime in 1989. Because even though NBC had baseball in the 90s, it wasn't regular season baseball, just all-star games and postseason. And although the Cardinals were in the postseason in the 90s and 96, as one example, I happened to do the American League Championship Series, not the National League Championship Series. So I would guess that the last time I did a Cardinal game, and I'm not calling the games anymore, I'm just hosting the pregame in this particular case, but the last time would have been probably sometime during 1989 season.
That's wonderful. And the fact that you are hosting and you bring so much prestige to the broadcast in doing so is wonderful, as in addition to the fact that Jason Benetti is calling this game. I think he's fantastic. And not only that, Bob, but I did a UConn Xavier game on radio one year, and he was on the TV side, and we talked to each other. He treated me like we had known each other for years. He's a good person.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's part of the Syracuse lineage, just as I'm proud of my St. Louis connection. I'm proud of the ever-growing number of the list of Syracuse alums who now populate the broadcasting world, past and present. When I got there in the 70s, it was Marty Glickman, Marv Albert, Dick Stockton had been there, Outside Sports, Ted Koppel, and Dick Clark, and that was about the entire list. Now I think it's well past 100, and dozens of them still working today.
Mike Tirico did a great job last night on that Thunder-Spurs game. How about that? The Spurs and Knicks, Bob. You talk about a throwback. We're going back to 1999, a rematch in the NBA Finals.
And I did call that one with Doug Collins on NBC. The Spurs had the Knicks overmatched. The Knicks were an 8 seed and had a remarkable playoff run. By the time they got to the finals, they were without Patrick Ewing, and the Spurs had David Robinson and Tim Duncan. The Knicks managed to win Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. Allen Houston had a big night, but it was pretty clear from the start that the Spurs had them overmatched, and the Spurs won the title, the first of their 5 titles for Greg Popovich in 5 games.
You grew up in New York. I always wondered what it would be like, and this is probably why I became a Knicks fan when I was a kid, what it would be like if the Knicks did it again. It's been since 1973. What has, and I know you're there from time to time, but what has the city been like through all of this?
Oh, they're crazed about it. On the other hand, there was a cartoon in one of the New York newspapers just a few days ago, a guy reading a newspaper and a callback to Dickens. It was the worst of times. It was actually, they did phrase it as Dickens did. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And the top is the Knicks and the bottom is the Mets going on simultaneously. So, but the Knicks, the entire city is crazed. Newscasts are leading with the Knicks, not just the sportscasts. And they have not just won all 3 rounds to get through the Eastern Conference and into the final, they obliterated their opponents. Their margins of victory are the greatest cumulatively in the history of the NBA playoffs. Now, the caution here is that while, the Hawks and the Sixers and the Cavs were good enough to make the playoffs, neither is as good as the Thunder or the Spurs. So we knew that once the Knicks had swept the Cavs and were just biding their time waiting for the Western Conference to be settled, that they were going to be up against it in a decided underdog no matter what, no matter how hot they are, a decided underdog now against the Spurs, who were a bit of an underdog against the Thunder, but managed not just to win Game 6 at home, but then last night won Game 7 pretty decisively on the Thunder's home floor. So here's a San Antonio team which had not made the playoffs for 7 years, hadn't even been in the postseason the last 7 years. Now they took down the defending champs on their home floor in Game 7, and they await the Knicks.
The Knicks are an underdog indeed on Wednesday in Game 1 in San Antonio. Bob, back to tonight. Albert Pujols is also part of this broadcast experience. What has he been like on that side of the game?
Well, I've intersected with Albert at the Major League Baseball Network, where he does some occasional work. This, I believe, is his first one as part of the NBC approach on Sunday nights. And most of the games have been on Peacock, not on big NBC, because NBC had NBA playoff games going. But now beginning tonight, each of the Sunday night games will be on big NBC as well as on Peacock. I think this is the first one that Albert's been involved in. And the approach is they want to have one guy from each of the teams kind of representing that team's history. So Jason Benetti calls the game. Albert Pujols represents the Cardinals. Jim DeShays represents the Cubs. And that's the way it has been throughout the season. But Ozzie Smith, at my suggestion, is also joining us on the pregame show. So on the pregame, I've got Anthony Rizzo on one side, Cub history, and of course Ozzie on the other side, Cardinal history.
That's a great pick right there. You could win a lot of games with those players, I'll tell you that. Bob Costas is with us on KMOX. Bob, what do you think about this Cardinals team? I don't know about you, and you've seen a lot more baseball than I have, but in my lifetime, I've not been through this before. A rebuild, a team this young, this is a remarkable thing for Cardinals fans to go through. It seems like they're starting to catch on a little bit.
Well, normally when a team announces, either directly or implicitly, we're in a rebuilding phase, that means we ain't going to win for a while. Now, I'm not sure, none of us are, what the standings will look like come the end of September. But right now, the Cardinals are not just a competitive team, but they're an energetic and appealing team, the kind of team that St. Louis fans will get behind. And as you know, because you're here day to day, over the last few years, it wasn't just that the Cardinals weren't as competitive as they generally are, but there was a lack of life and verve. They weren't really a rewarding team to follow, and that's unusual in St. Louis. And when Cardinal fans begin not to show up, it takes a lot. You know, it's not like Philadelphia or other places where they get triggered pretty easily. Cardinal fans are pretty patient and pretty reasonable, but many of them had not necessarily turned on the team, but they turned away. They weren't as engaged as they generally have been. I think this year's team has brought many of them back.
As you see what Chaim Bloom is doing to build this, do you believe that they're on the right path? Do you see what he's trying to do?
Yeah, so it seems. You know, when Goldschmidt and Arenado, not far removed from their peaks, but past their peaks, but still players who can contribute. Goldschmidt has contributed for the Yankees, Arenado for the Diamondbacks. But when they decided to cut them loose, that was an indication, look, we can't ride this same horse forever. We'd rather not be mediocre or just slightly better than mediocre with guys with Hall of Fame credentials but past their peak. At some point, you got to look toward the future. Generally, that means, as I said before, many losing seasons. It looks like Chaim Bloom may, in fact, have found a formula. It's too early to say for sure, and there's so many variables in baseball over the course of a long season and injuries and all the rest. But it looks as if maybe that timetable is a little quicker than fans had reason to believe.
Just a couple things left for Bob Costas. Bob, the MLB PA has responded to Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball owners want a salary cap and salary floor. It sure seems like the line has been drawn from the MLB PA saying they don't want that at all. What's your read right now on what's going on here?
Well, I think everybody on both sides of that negotiation and everybody who follows baseball knows that baseball right now is on a high. The World Series got enormous numbers. Shohei Ohtani gives the game additional international appeal, and there's a large influx of players from around the globe. A lot about baseball is really appealing now, and it would be a shame if a work stoppage slowed that positive momentum. On the other hand, it's pretty clear that the owners, at least most of them, maybe the Yankees and the Dodgers and some others are just fine with the way things are, but the majority of owners feel as if this particular set of circumstances is not sustainable. They want to expand. They want to go to 32 teams and perhaps move some teams around, or if not move them around, their expansion sites. Salt Lake City is almost certainly one of them. Nashville might be another. But it's harder to sell someone on the idea that you should buy in for billions and billions of dollars when you have all kinds of uncertainty about the economics of the industry. And what they're going to say to the players is, look, every other major league in North America, the NHL has a hard cap, but their financial circumstances are different. And the NBA and NFL have different mechanisms, but it isn't the end of the world. However, in baseball, and those of a certain age that have followed me for a long time know that I was always on the players' side. I was on Marvin Miller's side and Don Fehr and Gene Orza's side, generally speaking. But eventually the players have to get off this high horse, and the idea that anything that even hints at a salary cap ignites a holy war. All the battles of principle have rightly been won by the players. Now it should just be a hard-nosed business deal. A tough negotiation, yes, but you can't just arbitrarily set up lines. This can never be crossed. This is the end of the world. It's a matter of principle. We'll die on this hill. We'll go to the barricades. No negotiation can begin that way and come out in a good place, especially if it means you lose games and you damage the very industry that both owners and players benefit from.
It's a great way to look at it. I think both sides, and I think you laid it out very well. And as you know, we have great interest in it, Bob, because St. Louis needs baseball. I mean, we absolutely must have it. I mean, it's a city that I know you don't live in year-round anymore. You do come by and visit your home, which you feel St. Louis is very much your home. I don't know how you feel about this city in terms of its sports prestige. I know we have all the history. Have we lost our fastball? Are we okay in the eyes of people? How do you view St. Louis right now, and how are we viewed from afar?
Well, baseball is definitely part of the identity of the city, more so than in some cities where they have a major league franchise. And now there's no NFL. There's not going to be NBA. It's not even on the possible list should the NBA ever expand or should a franchise ever move. So you've got the Blues and you've got the Cardinals. And baseball, with all due respect to the NHL, and Blues fandom is avid, and it was wonderful when they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. So I'm not shortchanging that, but baseball is still bigger. And baseball has always been number one here. Baseball was one of the few cities when football overtook baseball, which, by the way, may be one of the many signs of the decline of Western civilization, when baseball isn't truly the most popular sport. But nonetheless, in every measurable way, football is more popular nationally than baseball, but not in St. Louis. Even when the Big Red were here, not in St. Louis. So it's part of the identity of the town, and it's always better when the Cardinals are thriving.
Appreciate you so much, and the fact that you're on KMOX, but also that you're in town, that you're part of this scene tonight. It's always great to have you in the ballpark, Bob.
Thank you, Tom. Always good to speak with you. Take care.
You too. Bob Costas, the great KMOX alum, with us on Sports on a Sunday Morning. When we come back, it's Blues General Manager Doug Armstrong. I'm Tom Ackerman, Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
Hey, Missouri, for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with the Punches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
All right, time for the parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. I will look at this Knicks-Spurs game 1, where the Spurs are a 5-point dog. Now, if you've been listening, Spurs are a 5-point favorite. The Knicks are a 5-point dog, and if you've been listening to me for the last couple of weeks, probably 3 weeks, what have I been telling you? I put it on the line over and over. I said the Knicks are going to win the NBA title. I didn't just say that they're going to make it to the NBA Finals. I said they're going to win it all. They're a 5-point underdog. Now, this is interesting because the Spurs are going to be fired up here. Victor Wembanyama, they're going to be coming out of that Oklahoma City game on the road, very, very confident and likely to win game 1, I would say. Can they cover the 5? I'm going to say no. I think the Knicks will make this a one-possession game. Might steal game 1. The Knicks are really, really good, folks. And on top of that, I'm telling you, if you want to parlay it, Knicks to win the title. That's our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Seliga Heating and Cooling. Data centers don't wait, and neither should your supply chain. From power and connectivity to racks and critical power, Graybar brings the products and the experience data centers need now. And with deep inventory and logistics expertise, we keep projects moving from first delivery to final install. With hundreds of locations and a nationwide delivery fleet, we help you bring facilities online, on time, and on budget. Yep, Graybar does that.
Saving money on your next project when you shop at Menards. Transform your garage in one weekend with Rust-Oleum's Rock Solid Garage Floor Coating Kit. It provides a durable, showroom-quality finish that can be driven on in 24 hours. Pick up Rock Solid's Garage Floor Coating Kit. On sale now through June 7th. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stiefel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We have had some hour, Bernie Miklas and then Bob Costas, and look who's joining us now. It's the Blues General Manager, Doug Armstrong. Army, thank you very much for being with us today on Sports on a Sunday morning. You are still technically the general manager, right? You have not officially handed that over to Steiner just yet.
Yeah, those days are winding down. It'll going to get through the draft, and then we'll make the official transfer to Alex, and looking forward to that.
Well, how are you enjoying the Stanley Cup playoffs? I know that it's hard sometimes when you're not in it, but it has been entertaining. And now we have Carolina and Vegas going at it. That's going to be some series.
Yeah, that should be a fast series. A lot of great skaters on both teams, and I'm looking forward to watching that. That's for sure.
What do you think of your offseason so far as you take a look at your team from a wide lens? And let's start with this. What do you need to accomplish? Ultimately, how do the Blues put themselves in position to get back to where they want to be?
Yeah, I think we started down a path a couple of years ago, and we're staying on that path. We're seeing growth in certain areas and areas we still have to grow in. I think the job, getting Holloway signed was something that we wanted to accomplish without much fanfare or much trouble, and we were able to do that. So our summer contractually shouldn't be as heavy as it's been in the past. But I think Alex and I and Mr. Stillman want to just see internal growth. We saw Snuggerud, Holloway, and Thomas become a very effective line at the end. We'd like to get a secondary scoring better than it was last year. I think both Buchnevich and Kyrou had off seasons. I think if they can get back to their normal production, we'll have that secondary scoring. And our defense is young. We had Lindstein play with Parenko. We had Mayu play with Broberg, and potentially Juracek will come in if he can earn that spot and play with Fowler. So we'll have 3 young guys and 3 veterans, and strong goaltending tandem in Binnington and Hofer. So I think we're set up, but we want to see players like Stenberg and Kaskamaki and Lindstein, and as I said, Juracek. Zach Dean had a good season too down in the American Hockey League. We want to see some of these players come in and make life difficult on some of the returning players.
Last time I looked, Canada was losing 2-1 to Norway late. They're playing for the bronze medal at the World Championship in Zurich, but Thomas scored for Canada to get them on the board. So pretty neat opportunity for those players. Holloway is playing as well for Canada.
Yeah, I watched the game yesterday. They had a difficult game, obviously, against Finland. They played a good first and third, but the second period bit them, and they didn't get past that. And the bronze medal game is always a difficult game to play in when your expectations are higher than that. But yeah, I'm happy for Robert. He scored yesterday. Actually, the 2 goals that Canada scored, Holloway and Robert scored those goals, and then obviously Robert scored today. So they're having a good tournament, and I hope they can find a way to tie that one up and come home with a medal.
P.S. Suter helped Switzerland reach the gold medal game against Finland. That's going to be later today. Suter's a nice player.
Yeah, he's a nice addition by the group last year. A really sort of a utility player. He can play the wing. He can center your third line. He can go up into our 6 when needed. He's been a nice addition, and we'll be counting on him to anchor that third line and hopefully find someone, maybe he and Neighbors, and find a good right winger that could be a really good 200-foot line.
Army, Robert just scored again to tie the game with 7 seconds left. Man, he is unbelievable.
Good for him.
He is unbelievable. What a player he is. Doug Armstrong is with us on KMOX, and always a treat to have him with us. Army, this is going to be the NHL Combine. It starts this week in Buffalo. The NHL Draft is at the end of this month. This has some real makings of a good draft for the Blues, doesn't it?
Yeah, we obviously moved some veteran players at the trade deadline. We have at the 11th, their finalized picks now with Colorado's loss last round. We have the 11th pick, the 15th pick, and the 29th pick. So we have an opportunity to select players there, having multiple picks. And we have 3 early third-round picks, I think 73, 75, and 76. So there's the opportunity to package some of these picks to move up if the right player is there and we can find a partner. But I know we're going to the Combine, and then our amateur staff meets right after the Combine for 5 days. We'll get our list probably 90 to 95% finalized, and then we'll continue to tinker with that as we move forward. And then Alex and I will get on the phone and see what the teams around us are a little higher than us are looking to do. And also, I expect we'll get calls from teams in the late teens that want to move up, and we'll play that card also.
And then finally, Steve Ott, just so people understand what he was able to do here in the last couple of weeks. They were the AHL Atlantic Division Finals participant that ended with a Game 5 loss to the Penguins AHL team. Steve Ott took over as coach of Springfield. Army, they were the lowest seed in the playoffs. They got drilled in their playoff opener. They came back, won that series on the road. Then they set an AHL record in the second round by beating Boston's AHL team that finished the season 38 points ahead of them. I mean, and amazing impact that Otter made.
Yeah, Steve did a great job down there. They played a sound game. They were in every game. Earlier in the year, we were going to play a lot of nights. I think Steve found some foundation to build around, and you give the players credit. They bought into what he was, his messaging. I think getting some players that were up here and Theo Lindstein and Stenberg back certainly helped their cause down the stretch and into the playoffs. And those are moments that you can't replicate. Playoff games, series wins. So getting those extra games for that group was 14 extra games. It's 20% of the season basically. So getting that added, adding some young players like Juracek, Carbonneau, and Ralph in there gave them some experience. So there was nothing but positive came out of Steve's tenure this year down in the American Hockey League. And I think he certainly has NHL capabilities, Steve. I think getting to run his own bench is important for him, and I'm excited about his future also.
Do you feel confident that you'll have the coaching staff that you want for the upcoming season?
Yeah, we do. Jim is obviously spearheading that, and he's moving, at a strong pace, doing his due diligence. I hope to have something done, or Alex and I hope to have something done with Jim prior to the draft, but not just because there's no real reason they don't participate in the draft, but we would like to get that taken care of, have the coaches come maybe to development camp, meet the staff, and get up and running. But yeah, Jim's doing a nice job at interviewing the people and surrounding himself to fill in the areas that he thinks are needed for his staff.
Army, it's always great to have you on KMOX, updating our fans with everything that's happening with the Blues. Thank you for doing this. Have a great Sunday.
Great. Thank you very much for having me. Take care.
You bet. Great to visit with Doug Armstrong, the Blues general manager, on KMOX. Sports on a Sunday morning. When we come back, we're going to get into the Battlehawks, City, the Cardinals again with Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, and we'll hear from the Indy 500 champion himself. Felix Rosenquist will be on the show today. He's going to be here next weekend for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you from the Stiefel Sports Studio. Remember, it's a night game for the Cardinals. 3 straight night games for them. 6:20 is first pitch tonight as the Cardinals take on the Cubs at Busch Stadium. Welcome to all the folks who came into town for that, including Cubs fans. We appreciate you throwing some money around downtown. Back after this on KMOX. This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, Agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump has said the U.S. is close to a deal with Iran to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But that strait remains closed, and that continues to drive worries about supplies of gas and oil. The White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett tells ABC that's not a concern.
We track inventories every day. We started out with billions of barrels of private and government inventories, and we still are in the billions. And so there's plenty of runway, but also, there's a lot of pressure on Iran to finally agree to the president's terms.
Pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest forms of cancer, and in trials, a new daily pill nearly doubled the survival time of patients to more than a year compared to those who were treated with chemotherapy, who lived on average for 6.7 months. Family visitations resumed at the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey that's been the backdrop for clashes between opposing demonstrators. This is ABC News. The driver of a bus that triggered a multi-vehicle wreck on Interstate 95 in Virginia Friday that left 5 people dead and dozens hurt has been charged with manslaughter. Authorities say the driver of the bus failed to slow down as the bus entered a work zone on Interstate 95. No criminal charges after fears of an hijacking in midair in the Midwest, says ABC's Ike Kafedžić.
The Boeing 737 bound for Minneapolis with 147 passengers and 6 crew on board. But just before 9 p.m., all of that changed. The captain diverting the plane to Dane County, Wisconsin. Witnesses say sheriff's deputies immediately boarded the plane. Mike Rundle was traveling with his wife.
Asked the gentleman to stand up, put handcuffs on him, and walked him out.
Authorities say the man appeared to be confused and in a mental health crisis. The FBI is handling this investigation and say no charges are being pursued at this time.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 11:02, we have a cloudy sky in downtown St. Louis, but the threat of rain is over. It's 73 degrees. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news. The Cardinals play tonight against the Cubs at 6:20, and paying for parking in downtown St. Louis is going to be different today through Wednesday.
Cash will not be accepted in parking lots owned and operated by the city's treasury during Cardinals games through Wednesday. Treasurer Adam Lane tells KMOX this will be done to collect data ahead of a potential move to going entirely cashless.
The majority of folks are paying with card. We want to see what it would look like to actually make a full transition, so we're testing it out.
Lane says about 70% of people who park in their lots pay with card currently. He adds going cashless can help his office run more efficiently.
It does make the bookkeeping a lot easier if we go to card only. It also is less stress on our personnel.
He says this can be because it's hard to find seasonal work to make the cash transactions in the lots happen, and they've had to close lots or bring office staff out to operate them in the past. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
We've told you about the break that led to detectives making an arrest in the 1993 killing of Randy Gale Sperino in Granite City. Today, the team is sharing how the case finally got solved more than 3 decades later. Madison County Captain Tim Lawrence, the chief of detectives, takes issue with a phrase often used for cases like this one.
I'll be honest with you, I don't like the term cold case because it makes everybody think you're not working it. I like to call them unsolved. Well, we have investigators who look at these periodically. We have new eyes come in and put on it. It's not something that ever gets forgotten.
Investigators say updated DNA work, genetic genealogy, and AI sorting through more than 2,000 pages of old case files broke this one open. He was a former St. Louis Public Schools administrator, then moved on to the Des Moines School District. Now he's bound for federal prison.
Ian Roberts was sentenced Friday to 2 years on immigration and gun charges. Roberts worked for SLPS from 2015 to 18. He resigned as Des Moines superintendent after ICE agents arrested him last fall. They found a loaded gun and cash after he tried to flee. He's expected to be deported to his native Guyana after serving his time. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Let's check in with the AccuWeather office and get the latest on our Sunday weather forecast.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunshine mixing with some clouds this afternoon. A thunderstorm or two in the area, the high at 82. A thunderstorm in spots tonight, especially later on, the low 67. Humid tomorrow with clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in a few spots, a high 82. Then lower humidity Tuesday, sunny to partly cloudy, high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we're looking at a cloudy sky downtown. It's 75 in Florissant, 75 in St. Peters, and 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. The humidity is at 65%. We do have a slight wind out of the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. I'm Tom Ackerman, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
There is a whole lot going on. If you are just catching us, we have a lot happening here on Sports on a Sunday morning already. We visited with, how about this trio? Bernie Miklasz, Bob Costas, Doug Armstrong. Miklasz, of course, part of our KMOX team, Missouri Sports Hall of Famer. Bob Costas, 29-time Emmy winner and 12-time Olympic Games host and member of numerous halls of fame, including the Baseball Hall of Fame. Both of them with us talking Cardinal baseball, the Cardinals and Cubs. You can go back and listen to that right now if you want, although I'd appreciate if you hang on with me for a little bit longer. You'll have time to listen to it because the Cardinals don't play until tonight. They play at 6:20. Bob is part of the NBC broadcast. Bernie, of course, part of our team covering baseball. And then Doug Armstrong, the outgoing GM of the Blues, still the GM for another month, talking about the upcoming draft and free agency, what's happening this summer with the Blues as they continue to look at opportunities to improve their team. But as he told us, he does feel like this movement has been a few years in the making, and they feel like they're on the right path to building this team back. Doug Armstrong, Bob Costas, Bernie Miklasz, all last hour on KMOX. This hour, we're going to be joined by Elvir Kafedžić. Kafedžić is the assistant coach for City 2. Not only that, but he is Bosnian, and he started the STL Bosnia Soccer Club, and we're going to discuss Bosnia-Herzegovina coming to St. Louis next weekend. That's happening on June 6th at Energizer Park, and what he's done to connect with the Bosnian community here in St. Louis. This should be a great conversation with Elvir Kafedžić coming up at 11:15. At 11:30, it's Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. This is one of the most listened to segments all weekend and certainly on our station throughout the week. We appreciate all of your listenership. A lot of people tune into KMOX at 11:30. We'd love for you to start at 10:05, but we understand that schedules are what they are. But boy, do we love the fact that we get so much response to the Chaim interview, and he likes it. And I actually throw out a couple of questions from fans. So if you want to get in, you can follow on our YouTube. It's KMOX Sports on YouTube. KMOX Sports on X and Facebook as well. You can load up those comments, and I'll throw those his way. You can also, if you want to send them to me directly on Twitter, that's fine too, but however you want to do it. He likes hearing from our listeners on KMOX, and I like to send him a few questions from me, which we do have quite a few for Chaim, actually at 11:30. At 11:45, it's Indy 500 champion Felix Rosenqvist. That was an amazing Indy 500, the closest finish ever. He won it by half a car length. So we'll talk to Felix about it, and he will be here next weekend. Next weekend's going to be a ridiculously fun week and month, but weekend coming up this weekend. You have the Cardinals and the Reds. You have Bosnians flocking to Energizer Park to see their team take on Panama in that World Cup friendly. You have IndyCar, as I just mentioned. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 is Sunday night a night race in Madison, Illinois, which is just on the other side of the river, 5 minutes from the Arch, and they are selling tickets like hotcakes over there. That is going to be awesome. And I think the Indy 500 helped that a lot. A lot of people watched that. It was one of the most watched Indy 500s ever. And to have all those drivers and all those cars and teams and everything here next weekend, I think some people still are like, wait, we have one of those? Yes. You don't have Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You have Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is about half the size. And that track is fantastic. I'm talking about the length of the race. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a behemoth. But Worldwide Technology Raceway can lay claim to the only facility in the world that has IndyCar, NASCAR, and NHRA. So we have that going for us. And we have another thing happening next weekend. The St. Louis Battlehawks will be playing a playoff game. Now, granted, they're going into it with a loss. They lost 20-16 at home, their final regular season game, to the Dallas Renegades on Friday night. They had a good crowd there, 24,621. Now, I recall in the past that regular season did very well for the Battlehawks, but some of the playoff tickets were a little slower maybe. I hope that's not the case this time around. I do hope that those tickets are going well. I've not heard numbers. They just put the tickets on sale. The game is next Sunday at 5 o'clock at the Dome. So you have pro football going on at the same time as the IndyCar race, at the same time that the Cardinals game will be letting out, and the Bosnians will have fun, 60,000 plus of them living in St. Louis the previous day at Energizer Park. Here's the alert. Alert, downtown restaurants and bars. Let's get your staff in order. Let's people please call your favorite restaurant and bar. Tell them you're coming. Make reservations. Gather your friends. Downtown is going to be hopping next weekend. So that's going to be great to have all of those people in town. As for the Battlehawks, they struck first. 45-yard field goal. Dallas responded before the end of the quarter with a touchdown. Austin Reed, their quarterback, to Emmanuel Butler. 7-3 lead for the Renegades. Then St. Louis closed out the first quarter. 56-yard touchdown reception for Hakeem Butler, who is a tremendous player. Battlehawks were down on the 22 after that 56-yard catch, and then the Battlehawks were unable to convert in the red zone. They had to kick a field goal. That made it 7-6. And then they did it again. They got down inside the 20 and couldn't punch it in and then missed a field goal. So they're only up 7-6 after that next drive. You miss too many opportunities, you are going to lose. So it was a 7-6 lead for the Renegades. They put up another score. They went up 13-6. They ended up winning this game by a final of 20-16. So the Battlehawks will have to wait until Sunday, first round of the UFL playoffs at the Dome. 5 p.m. is kickoff for that, and tickets are available via Ticketmaster. The St. Louis Battlehawks, the Cardinals, IndyCar, and World Cup all in St. Louis. The World Cup, of course, is a friendly. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will talk more about that World Cup matchup between Bosnia-Herzegovina and Panama. We're going to be joined by City 2 assistant coach Elvir Kafedžić, who is from Bosnia-Herzegovina, and he is going to talk about the Bosnian community here in St. Louis, the soccer culture here in St. Louis, and what to expect this Saturday when you go to that match at Energizer Park. Chaim Bloom at 11:30, Felix Rosenquist at 11:45. Big show today. We had Bernie Miklasz, Bob Costas, Doug Armstrong. I'm Tom Ackerman. We will be right back.
Hey, it's Matt and Leslie Holiday. When we got to St. Louis, it wasn't long before we started searching for a way to give back.
We visited Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, and we knew this is where we belonged.
Homers for Health has been going strong for 15 years and has made such an unbelievable impact on the hospital. I've won a World Series, but I consider the work we have done at Cardinal Glennon to be the greatest achievement.
Yes, your support truly makes a difference. Make your pledge for patients today at homersforhealth.org to benefit the devoted fund.
Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. This season, we're continuing a limited spring opportunity, offering select enhancements designed to elevate your home and your experience. From a finished basement recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades, or flexible options like design credits or closing cost savings. These offers are available in select communities for a limited time. Visit lombardohomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Big matchup on Saturday. It'll be Bosnia and Herzegovina against Panama, a World Cup friendly at Energizer Park. And joining us is an assistant coach on David Critchley's City 2 staff. He is Elvir Kafedžić. And it's great to have you on KMOX. Elvir, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Tom, and it's a pleasure to be on your show today.
It's a pleasure to have you. First of all, before we talk about that matchup this Saturday, let's talk about your team just a bit. They won 2-0 yesterday, last night at Energizer Park against North Texas SC. That's your 7th victory of the season. You're back into second place in the Western Conference. And you know what I think is great about City 2 is that you continue to bring up academy players to see the bright lights and to play at that level. I think this is originally what this was all about, was to get this franchise not only ingrained in Major League Soccer, but to take advantage of the plethora of young players that you had in St. Louis and build an academy, build a foundation, and you have done just that.
That is absolutely correct, Tom. I think the main objective from City 2 is to push these kids that we have, the most talented kids from our academy teams, push them into City 2 and give them an opportunity to see if we can further develop them, and hopefully one day we see some of them compete and play for our first team. But yeah, last night against North Texas, it was very important for us to get back on the winning ways, because the last 3 games we were not able to do so. To get a W, especially when we play here at home at City Park, I think it's always important for us. And you got a goal, the 4th of the season, from Mekhi Joyner. That was a big one. How did he look, and how has he looked? Every time, obviously Mekhi is the first team player, but every time he has been given the opportunity to come down to City 2 and play for us, I think he's done really, really well. And Obviously, for him, getting the goal was also very important because he is headed to with the U.S. national team to Bulgaria, I believe. They're going to play some friendly matches there.
Meanwhile, City 2 will be on the road next weekend to face Colorado Rapids 2. That'll be on Saturday, June 6th, kickoff set for 7 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, here in St. Louis, Energizer Park will be very busy. You're going to have Bosnia and Herzegovina taking on Panama, a World Cup friendly. As soon as the Bosnian team beat Italy, they were on the phone, weren't they, trying to get this game, and now this match is a reality. What is it like for you?
I mean, obviously, this news has brought enormous joy to everyone within our community, Tom. But you could really, really feel the excitement, has started already building, like you just mentioned, the Italy match. But even the game before that against Wales, I mean, people were so excited, just to watch those games and support the team. And because of I remember specifically because of the big time difference to Europe, the games were played around 1 p.m. here St. Louis time. I remember so many people were taking off from work, even taking their kids out of school and just gathering in local Bosnian establishments to watch and support the team. I mean, the energy was something really, really special.
You are from Bosnia. You have been with City from the very start, and you also founded the Dragons. That's the St. Louis Bosnia Soccer Club here in town. How did that come together?
That is correct, Tom. So about, I'd say 10 years ago now, after I finished playing my professional career, I was approached by some parents within our community and asked if I would be willing to coach their kids. I believed at that time, because of the experiences that I gained through my playing career, I saw this as a great opportunity to give back to the community and share my knowledge and passion with the younger generations. As time went on, though, I really started to realize that this has become more than just me teaching the game of soccer to the kids. The club had become a place where our community would come together, where families would connect, friendships were built, and I believe our traditions continue to live on. And I saw this as a way to honor our past while building something really meaningful for the next generations.
And Elvir, this is, so people understand, the St. Louis Dragons, this isn't just one team. This is teams. This is like about 100 kids, right?
That's correct, Tom. I mean, currently there's about 120 kids and multiple teams, the youngest one starting at the age of 7, and going all the way up to U13s, U14s. So, yeah. We practice a few times throughout the week and then compete in different leagues throughout on the weekends, whether it's the Slicer League or during the winter time in the weather indoor leagues.
I love the fact that the fans were gathering in local establishments and watching the matches, Bosnia, as they made their run to this World Cup. What about the game itself? Do you hear people saying they have tickets in hand? Is it going to be wild? What is that scene going to be like on Saturday?
I mean, a lot of the people already have bought tickets, but there's still tickets available to purchase. So if anybody's still looking for tickets, please just go on SeatGeek.com and type in the name Bosnia-Herzegovina versus Panama, and you will still see the tickets that are available. But to your point, Tom, I remember just going back to those two matches against Italy and Wales. I mean, you could see on the streets of Gravois and Morgaford in South City, where you find a lot of the Bosnian establishments. I mean, cars flying Bosnian flags on the streets, all the coffee shops, restaurants being packed wall to wall, and strangers just hugging each other like they were family after every goal that was scored. I truly believe that this goes beyond soccer. It shows us who we are, where we come from, and how deeply connected we still are to our roots. Now, to have this opportunity to experience that same passion together in person right here in St. Louis at Energizer Park makes it even so much more meaningful. And I have no doubt that on June 6th, the entire Bosnian community will come together, rally behind the team, and send them off to the first World Cup match versus Canada with the kind of atmosphere they would expect only if they were playing back home in Bosnia.
Yeah, boy, you paint a great picture there. I was thinking about that last night when the Paris scene must have been just amazing after they beat Arsenal, in the Champions League. And you think about all of that and the excitement of this sport and how great this sport is. There's a lot of pride involved there. And here's something else I thought about, Elvir, is that obviously we want the United States to do well. I mean, we love Team USA. We love the U.S. men's national team. Not only that, but we want the casual sports fan to love soccer. And so if the U.S. team does well, soccer in this country will do well. But I have a feeling that if the Bosnian team does well, St. Louis will get on board. They'll start to follow this Bosnian team. There's a lot of pride in our St. Louisans, and we have, over 60,000 Bosnians living in St. Louis at this point?
I mean, it's the largest population out of Bosnian population outside of Europe, and when you mention in pride, just to paint like a little small picture again, Tom, like in the Bosnian soccer culture, like one of the first gifts that many children receive for their birthdays is in many cases is just a soccer ball, and because they're introduced to the game at such a young age, they often develop a really deep love for it, and as they grow older, that love frequently evolves into a lifelong passion for the sport. So no doubt about it, if the Bosnian national team does well, it's going to be also very positively impactful for the St. Louis community here.
Well, it's great to visit with you, Elvir. I mean, I just think this is going to be an incredible week leading up to this. As I mentioned, it's a monster weekend in St. Louis. There's so much going on between IndyCar and Cardinals and Battlehawks, and, of course, this match, Bosnia and Herzegovina against Panama. By the way, how good is Panama? Now that we've talked enough about the Bosnians, how good is the Panama team?
I mean, obviously they have qualified for the World Cup, so they're really good. And if you just look at the world rankings, I mean, they're actually ranked much higher than Bosnia. I think they're ranked like number 31 in the world, and Bosnia is like 68, I believe, as of right now. So I think like even going into this game, like even though it should feel like a home match for Bosnia because of the many fans that the Bosnian national team should have, I think Panama might actually be the favorite going into this game.
Yeah, I would think that's possible. It's going to be great. And I appreciate you being with us today. I know you've been with this team. You started out in scouting, really kind of consulting for this team. And then you worked your way all the way to Bradley Carnell's staff. Now you're a big part of what City 2 means to that organization. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing us into the Bosnian culture, and all the best to you this week, weekend, and throughout the summer.
All right. Yeah. Thank you again, Tom, for having me on your show today.
Thank you. Elvir Kafedžić is an assistant coach at City 2. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. I'm Tom Ackerman. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
All Access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
It's Tom Ackerman for Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Love talking about Circa Sports, and there's no doubt about it. It is the best site out there. Circa Sports. Circasports.com, or all you have to do is find the Circa Sports app. It's right there on your phone. Circa Sports is the app. It's on my phone. And I can tell you that my favorite thing about it is it's so easy to use. That's probably the best part. Now, there are a lot of reasons why you would log in and download a sports betting app, and why you would pick a favorite. I can tell you why Circus Sports should be your favorite. Easy to use. Let's be honest, there are a lot of people that don't know how to use them, and it can be a little complicated. You don't understand what this means, what that means. They make it so simple for you at Circus Sports. And, it is great. I mean, this time of year, baseball, basketball, hockey still going, sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, as I've mentioned multiple times. Playoff futures, props on your favorite players, Circus Sports has you covered. Download the Circus Sports app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new home, and the Reserve at Wildwood is where you want to be. Park-like setting with front porches on every home, connected trails for exploring, walk to Main Street and Wildwood Town Center, top-rated Rockwood schools, and legendary McKelvey quality you can count on, featuring James Hardy siding. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and learn what makes the Reserve so special. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Today,
The Cards, the Cubs.
Emron Total Access 525. First pitch 6:20.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Yes, indeed. It's a night game. Another one. Big audience tonight. NBC is in the house. KMOX, of course, will be all over it with John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, Jim Jackson in the broadcast booth. Tom Ackerman with you here in downtown St. Louis, joined by Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. Chaim, it's a big night. Cards Cubs on national TV. Good to be with you.
Yeah, likewise. Fun atmosphere in the ballpark the last couple days, and looking forward to seeing that again tonight.
Sure has been. I was at the game on Friday with my daughter, and boy, was that entertaining. I mean, it really was. That was a classic Cards-Cubs matchup. Cubs came out on the wrong end of that one, and the Cardinals got it done. And then last night, just things didn't go your way. I mean, you just didn't have it. It felt like two different ball games from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? It's a credit to this group, especially a young group, right? We don't take this for granted that when we play like we did last night at Stanford, we usually play. You know, we had a game like that, I think, the middle game in Sacramento, where we just did not play a clean game and everything kind of looked a little bit off. And again, I give a lot of credit to our staff and our players because it does stand out when we do that. At least that's the way it's been through the first third of the season. That's not the typical brand of baseball that this group has worked to establish here. And I think overall that's a good thing, even though last night was ugly.
How about Velasquez on Friday? I mean, that first pitch sends it into the left field bullpen and does his little shirt fist pump out to the tarps off crowd. I mean, he was eating that up, and that was a long time coming from Nelson because obviously we were all pumping him up in spring training, but you had to make a decision there.
Yeah, it's so cool for him, right? It's been a long time in between big league games, and literally first swing he takes on coming back showed exactly why he's here. Really neat that it works out that way, and we talked about this a lot, obviously, at the end of camp. That was one of our toughest decisions, thought then, and still think it was the right decision at the time, but part of it was that we were going to be able to still have him in the organization so that when it made sense, we could call on him for exactly this type of opportunity. And after a slow start in Memphis, he really got himself back on track in May. Not that he was ever off our radar. He wasn't, but he was just in a really good spot and added something to our roster that we felt we really needed and like I said, showed right away why he's here.
Yeah, you want some thump in that lineup, and you did get that on one pitch from Velasquez. He also had another hit in that game. And then yesterday, the Cardinals dropped one 6-1, and the offense, as you mentioned, had a bit of an off day. Well, everything sort of had a bit of an off day yesterday. And the other pitcher who was good on Friday and not good yesterday, I guess, is Justin Brule. I mean, what is your read on Brule at this point?
It's been tough getting him on track. I mean, part of the reason that we gave him this runway here is because, he shows it to you when he's dialed in. Like, albeit he doesn't throw hard, he can make the baseball do some different things. When he's executing, he's a really tough at bat for a left-hander. And he can navigate righties as well because of that changeup and that four-seamer. It's just the consistency, obviously, has been hit or miss. And when he's on, I'm reminded of that game in Houston where he had to nail down that game in extra innings and cut through Yordan Alvarez and did a really good job doing that and getting us to the point where we could go to Graceffo to finish it off and navigating the top of their lineup the way he did. So we haven't been able to get him to do that consistently, but there's a reason he's here, and obviously someone that we're going to keep working with and keep trying to get that good version of him, because he has been very successful when that guy shows up, and then sometimes, like yesterday, is a little more erratic.
Do you need a big day out of Libby, or do you feel like your bullpen, even though they've been working a lot Friday, Saturday, would be able to back him up if needed?
Yeah, that's something we actually spent a while last night talking about. And, you always obviously want to get a good day out of your starter, especially after asking the bullpen to do a lot the first 2 days of this series. And so something we had a lot of conversation about and continue to about just what's the best way to navigate this, both this series and this homestand, and some conversations are ongoing there. But you never want to ask a guy for more than you should ask him for in a given night, in terms of just what's reasonable to ask of a guy to put you in position to win the game and hand it off to the boys at the end. So we'll see. I mean, he's obviously capable of it. It's going to be a big stage and a tough matchup. That's a pretty good Cubs team. So hopefully we see him dialed in.
It's a very good team that is 32-27, but you're right with them at 30-26, and a big matchup tonight, a chance to win a series. Back to the offensive side. Look, a day after Nolan Gorman goes 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, the fans are going to ask, and they're all over our board here asking about Gorman. When do you know he is who he is? Is he somebody that you need to let go? I mean, they're all over the place on Gorman. So let's get your thoughts on Gorman. I mean, is it glaring what his performance is? Is it something that you continue to ride with? How do you read Nolan?
Well, this has been a frustrating stretch. I mean, certainly for him, also for us. And interspersed within that, there's obviously been not just cool singular moments, but also cool stretches where he does show you, why he's gotten so many opportunities and some of the things he's capable of doing. Obviously, he's made some strides defensively. Again, had a hiccup last night, but overall in the season he has. And he's had some good stretches where he's gotten into the baseball, driven the ball, probably been a little snake bit with some of those results when he has hit the ball hard. But there's no question he's in the middle of a tough stretch right now. Whether being out in front of the changeup, being a little behind on the fastball, the proverbial in between. So we need to help him get out of that. You obviously want, like I've said this a few times, we've talked about it. You want there to be natural competition, right? You want guys to push each other for opportunity, because we are only allowed to put 9 of them out there at once. And so you want that competition to come from within. What we don't want to have happening is that we ever throw up our hands and say, we got to give up on this guy. That's not the approach we're going to take in this organization. If guys get beat out by other players just deserving more playing time, then so be it. That's part of our job as a front office, as an organization, whether internally, externally, create that competition, keep trying to flood that pipeline with more options so that they can push each other. But our job is to make sure we're getting the best out of everyone here, and let the competition take place between the players.
Jimmy Crooks was brought into the competition, and was this not only because he was cutting down on strikeouts, but because you felt confident in how he could game plan, how he could catch? I mean, did he show you enough growth? Was that ultimately why you made the move?
Yeah, really all of that. And I think that's a great example of what I'm talking about, where he really knocked the door down. And not that he wasn't capable of it at the outset of the season. He got a little taste of it last year, made such strides last year, especially understanding everything that goes into that role and what it takes to do that job at this level, and did really well with it. And was on the radar for sure, but it's a position where we're blessed with a number of good options, and there was plenty for him to work on at AAA, and we saw strides with both those things. Certainly, he's continued to take the leadership element, the game planning element, to a different level as he continues to get an understanding of where the standard is and how he can set that standard at that position at the big league level. Certainly showed everything you'd want to see in AAA to do that. And then the offense, obviously, he's gotten more power this year. And I think that the increases in impact quality, I think those are real. They did come with some swing and miss, some chase. He's been challenged to work on those things. And certainly in recent weeks, that was getting a lot better. That's not to say that it's a problem solved, just to say that he moved the needle in the right direction and did a lot of things to make us think this was the right time to give him an opportunity and give him some runway. And, we still like the other guys we have at that position. We have really good options there, but, this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you have a talented young player who is deserving of an opportunity, then you want to make sure he gets one and give him that opportunity and see what he does with it.
Sure. I mean, I think everybody, once you start moving crooks, not to mention you got Torres here, you got Velazquez here, people start looking through the treasure chest. Oh, I see a Joshua Baez. Oh, look at this. I see a Blaze Jordan. Where are those two players?
Yeah, great to be having these conversations. And, we're hopeful in the coming weeks to get a little healthier, too, at the big league level. So that may force some tough decisions up top. Again, I hope it does, because you always want to have more capable players than spots. Both those guys very much on our radar. They've both done some really cool things. Obviously, with Joshua, it's his first taste of that level, especially early on.
Ooh, we lost Chaim Bloom. That tone means we have lost Chaim Bloom. I'll tell you what, don't go anywhere, folks. We will get him right back on the phone. Let's take a 60-second break. Go ahead and hit the break here, James, and we'll get right back to Chaim, and we'll get him back on the phone. Back after this.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Celica Heating and Cooling.
Feel the rhythm and turn it up, St. Louis. Legendary rock icons Santana and the Doobie Brothers are bringing the heat to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 20th for the Oneness Tour 2026. From Black Magic Woman to Listen to the Music, this is the concert event fans don't want to miss. It'll be a summer night soon not forgotten. Santana, the Doobie Brothers. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, go to KMOX.com/events.
I mean, people are hanging on your every word, so I'm not going to let this go. We got to get Chaim Bloom's got to get back on. We just lost signal with you real quick, so we want to get you back on the show. Cardinals president of baseball operations. So when we were talking last, it was Joshua Baez and Blaze Jordan. Both are on your radar.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how long was I talking to myself about Josh Baez?
Not long really. But if you can rewind yourself, maybe like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah. Look, obviously, he's been on everybody's radar in this organization for a while. His first taste to AAA, at the outset, so much of the damage was against lefties and was struggling some against righties, still getting into some power every now and then. But there were some things swing-wise, approach-wise, that need to be honed in, and those continue to move in a positive direction. Love where he's headed, want him to have every chance to establish himself ultimately as an everyday player in this league. He has that upside. So he's moving in a very positive direction and very much on our radar. And with Blaze, it's not his first time at that level. He really struggled there after coming over last year. Obviously, he was in AAA as well with Boston, and then came over here, did not finish the season well. Struggled a little bit in spring training too, and he's been in a really good spot since the season started. Continues to improve defensively, offensively. His approach has been great. He's in a very confident place right now in the box. Certainly has our attention, someone we're keeping a very close eye on, and someone who I think if he keeps doing what he's been doing is going to merit a chance at the highest level.
And then you have Newt. They suspended that game against Wichita for Springfield yesterday. They're going to resume that today. How is he looking, and is he close?
he is. We're moving to the end of that 20-day timetable, and just because he did not have spring training, we want to make sure we're using every bit of that timetable to check as many boxes as we can before it's showtime. And so there's a few more things left on his schedule with that, but he's trending just fine. I think it's reasonable to assume that even once we activate him, that there will still be a little bit of an acclimation period, just both post-surgery, and even though he won't be in rehab mode anymore, just kind of being used to playing every day or close to every day at the big league level, and then also just getting back into the swing of things against the toughest competition in the world. But he's in a good spot, and we're really excited. You think about him and the combination of knowledge of the strike zone, the ability to impact the ball, some of the things he can do defensively. We've missed him. It's going to be nice to have him back.
By the way, in that same game, is this right? Senja struck out the same guy with two different hands? Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unique. It's funny. We obviously in spring training, we had him only facing hitters as a righty. We are continuing to keep the left side going on the side. And just through conversation with him, it was something that we all felt made some sense to allow him to bring into games a little bit. Not exclusively, right? We still want him to face a lot lefties as a righty just because the right-handed side has so much upside with some of what he can create from that side. And we want to develop the full repertoire as a right-handed starter. But there are situations in a game where it makes sense to bust out that left side. I mean, look, it's something like literally nobody else can do. To the extent that we can continue to develop that without taking away from the upside we're trying to reach from the right side, so much the better. Something he certainly wants to do. So, like you just said something, there's literally no other player playing right now in professional baseball that can say that they can do that.
Man, I mean, we're in the entertainment business, so there you go. Savannah Bananas, you got nothing on the Cardinals. They're bringing up an ambidextrous.
As long as it's helping us develop him into a championship caliber player,
that's right.
That's ultimately the end. We want to entertain. We also want to win. He's someone who has the capability to help us do both.
That's right. Last quick thing. Are you and the Brewers okay? Look, I'm from, maybe this is Tony La Russa got me this way, but I'm from, you plunk one of their guys and it's over. That's it. That didn't happen. But it sounded like everything was worked out okay between you and the Brewers.
Yeah, and look, I think from my chair, obviously, you got to have the humility to recognize, like, you're not down there in battle with those guys, and there's different ways things get handled. I'm certainly comfortable with handling it the way that it was handled. These are ongoing rivalries, right? There's always chances to get guys on the field to make statements in different ways. I know there's some conversation that goes on behind the scenes. We don't have to like what was going on, to feel that we're still going to approach it and address it in the right way. And we'll see those guys again. It's fun to be able to compete against them. Hopefully it brings out the best in us. That's definitely something where we had a lot of conversation about it internally. We don't have to love everything that went on, but I feel really good about how our group chose to handle it.
A lot of games against the NL Central. It was bound to happen somewhere, and this has been a great division. So we'll see where it all goes. Chaim, thank you for this. We appreciate the extra time today, and we'll catch up with you real soon. Good luck tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you. Talk soon.
Thank you. Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom, on Sports on a Sunday Morning. Indy 500 champion Felix Rosenqvist is next on KMOX.
The KMOX Newsroom has been honored with the prestigious Regional Edward R. Murrow Award in 2 categories: breaking news.
We have a tornado warning, which has just been issued.
And overall excellence.
I'm not going to call for County Executive Page to resign.
The KMOX Newsroom continues to be the vital source of information for our region, dedicated to journalistic excellence for St. Louis. We are the voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies days as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, it's Matt and Leslie Holiday. When we got to St. Louis, it wasn't long before we started searching for a way to give back.
We visited Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, and we knew this is where we belonged.
Homers for Health has been going strong for 15 years and has made such an unbelievable impact on the hospital. I've won a World Series, but I consider the work we have done at Cardinal Glennon to be the greatest achievement.
Yes, your support truly makes a difference. Make your pledge for patients today at homersforhealth.org to benefit the devoted fund.
At Smile Train, we understand that most children with clefts need a little extra care to help them grow healthy and strong. Visit smiletrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Well, the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 is coming our way June 7th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Tom Ackerman with you with the Indianapolis 500 champion, Felix Rosenquist. How does that sound when you're introduced in that manner, Felix?
I feel like I can get used to being introduced like that. It's it feels very good each time I hear it, and I still don't really believe it when I hear it either.
And I remember when you were interviewed by Jamie Little, you really seemed like you were still in a dream state. You dreamed it, and then it really happened. What an amazing moment in time that must have been for you.
Yeah, this is such a fairy tale finish for me. You know, just all the things that have happened in my life, in my career leading up to that point, and just the momentum we've been having. And then I have my child. Or our child in the beginning of May, became a father, and that now this. It's just you kind of you feel so lucky, and you almost wonder like, why do all these good things keep happening? It's just one thing after the other, and you're so blessed in so many ways. And yeah, I don't really know how to top it, to be honest. Like this whole the last month, I feel like nothing really in my life is probably going to top it, and that's cool. You know, that's great. I'm cool with that. But yeah, what a time to be alive for me.
What was it like to be back with them, your wife and daughter?
It was. I mean, I had a little FaceTime call right after that interview you talked about when I was running back to Victory Circle to drink or pour the milk, let's say. I couldn't even hear what she said, but it was such a cool moment just to like have her, you know, I had all these cameras and fans and team members around me, but just seeing her face there with the baby, and it was just such an emotional moment. And then coming home, I had like 10 minutes to be, you know, home and just have a shower before I had to go to our team part, and we just kind of laid down in bed, and like I just started crying, and she did too. And it's because you as a couple, you do it together, you know, you go through these, you know, the times together, and and this is a life-changing thing for her as well, just to, you know, it truly changes your life, the Indy 500. That's the best way I can describe it, and especially in the way it all went down.
And it's a part of Stella's life forever. And I'm telling you, it happens fast. My girls are 19 and 15. It seems like they were just born yesterday. You're coming to St. Louis. You'll be here next weekend for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. This track is different, obviously, than Indianapolis Motor Speedway, tighter, but challenging at the same time. And I know a lot of fun for the drivers. You seem to all really like it here.
You're right. You know, when we came back to St. Louis quite many years ago, I think it was 2019, you know, it was still a challenge to kind of get the package right with the downforce and the and the layout, and it was hard to get the passing going in the field. But the series just did such a good job to to make those changes, and the last, I think, 2 or even 3 years, it's just been probably the best races of the calendar, to be honest, outside of the 500. Just incredible racing, a lot of passing, a lot of action, and always seems to always be an exciting finish as well. And great partners with Bomarito Auto Group. They make a great show there with that big spectacle in the beginning of the race with the fireworks and a lot of fans. So yeah, we're pumped to get back for sure.
Well, thanks for bringing the sport back and for an incredible race. We had David Malukas in our office not a month ago talking about driving in that race. It was so tight. It was so close, closest ever, half a car length. Just amazing time for not only motorsports, but for sports in general. So we appreciate both of you for bringing us that incredible moment.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That is Felix Rosenqvist with me, the Indy 500 champion. We recorded that obviously because he's in a car right now. The Detroit Grand Prix just started. It's on Fox if you want to catch it this afternoon. He is back to business, Felix Rosenqvist, and then after they finish that race today, they will load it up in a truck and head it to St. Louis. They'll head south and be here this week for the Bomarito Automotive Group 500. And David Malukas, he's had what he called an incredible week after his finish second, a half length behind Rosenqvist in the Indy 500. I think he gained a lot of fans. Malukas did this week. Kyle Whittingham, the head coach of Michigan football, was driving the pace car, looks like, before the Detroit Grand Prix. I think Kurt Signetti did an unbelievable job in the Indy 500. That's just my biased opinion. But they're underway in the Detroit Grand Prix. So here's what's going on in the Bomarito Automotive Group 500. This will be starting on Friday with gates opening for all fans. You can check out everything. There's a track walk, which is free for all fans on Friday, June 5th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then they have concerts going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So check out the schedule, www.raceway.com. There's music all throughout the property. Saturday, the IndyCar Series Garage will open for fans with those credentials. They're going to have practice starting at 11:30 on Saturday morning. They have the IndyCar Series happening with qualifying at 3:30. They have the Indy Next Series also going on at the same time, all their practices and qualifying. And then Sunday is race day. The USAC Silver Crown is happening. They have IndyCar Next going on. That race is at 4:30 with the Out Front Route 66 Classic presented by Welsh Heating and Cooling. The USAC Silver Crown race will be at 5:45. And then the big time, after they do all kinds of fun stuff like championship wrestling and a police tribute lap as well, which is always a sight to see. They will have the driver introductions at 7:10 on Sunday night with the race. The green flag drops at 8:25 on Sunday night. A night race in the dark at Worldwide Technology Raceway. This is the Bomarito Automotive Group 500, and it is 260 laps with some of the best drivers in the world. Hope you join us over there next week. Thanks for joining us today on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX.
Save big in everything when you shop at Menards. Preparing paint projects has never been easier with Zinsser Bullseye 123. It's formulated to block stains and provides excellent adhesion on glossy surfaces for all interior and exterior applications. Save big on Bullseye 123 Primer and start your next painting project today. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com to find great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills that never match what you thought you were paying? Cut the nonsense.
Right now at redpocket.com, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year.
And here's the kicker. Red Pocket Mobile gives you access to all 3 5G networks. You pick the one that works best where you live or work, or switch anytime for better